Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun.
Hi, hello, I'm Joan from Reading with Joan. Welcome to my channel. Kindly remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel today. We love reading with you and interacting with our kids. On our Wednesday time, we read, and on Saturday, we talk and we just talk about morals, talk about things that are related to our culture, because we want kids to be culturally aware. We want kids to grow up to be very responsible and independent individuals. I hope you will join us Wednesday and Saturday. Remember, like, comment, and share our channel with your friends and family. We hope you enjoy reading with us today.
Reading with Joan, the place for all the fun. Creative kids.
Hi, I'm Little J, and today I'm reading Wisdom Tales from Around the World. And today we're reading tales from ancient Greece. Stories from Mount Olympus. Echo and Narcissus. Echo was a wood nymph, fond of forests and fields. Her only shortcoming was that she talked endlessly and always insisted on having the last word. One day, as Zeus carpeted in the forest with a group of lovely nymphs, his wife, Hera, came along the path. Echo intercepted Hera and diverted her with chatter, while Zeus hastily left the wood. Hera was not deceived, however. Infuriated that Echo had prevented her from confronting Zeus' unfaithfulness, she said, "Echo, you will never speak another word of your own. From this moment forth, you will only be able to repeat the last words of others." In a rage, Hera returned to her home on Mount Olympus and left Echo forlorn in the woods. Echo tried to speak, but to her horror, no sound came from her lips. Before long, a handsome youth named Narcissus walked through the forest. Echo found him so attractive that she flushed red with passion. She pursued the sound of his footsteps and longed to express her love. Alas! She could not say the words that she wished him to hear, for her tongue was silent. Narcissus stopped at the edge of a clear pool and bent over to take a drink. There, in the water, he saw his own image. He thought the beautiful face that gazed back at him was a water. He admired the soft golden curls that curved around the radiant cheeks and alluring eyes in the water. Soft lips, slightly parted, melted his heart. He said, "I love you." Echo was ecstatic. She had said something she could repeat, and yet truly mean to say. Standing in the bushes and behind him and blushing, Echo repeated, "I love you." When Narcissus heard these words, he thought that the face in water had spoken. He reached out to touch the image. The image reached out to him. But when he tried to caress his love, the image disappeared in the ripple. Filled with an unquenchable longing, he held helplessly in love with himself. Unable to move, he gazed at his own reflection until he slowly withered away and died. Herms came and led his sorrowful spirit across the river Styx to the underworld. A white flower with a deep purple center grew in the place where Narcissus had gazed at himself in the water. This flower still bears his name today. Echo, meanwhile, lamented the loss of her love until she, too, faded away. Soon, nothing was left of her but her voice, which she still heard in hollow places, senselessly repeating the words of others.
Welcome to Reading with Joan. Today we're reading Jungle Doctor and Slippery Places, and we're going to read chapter 14, called Eaten by Ants. Let's go. The sun was well over the hills. Billy had been at work already for 2 hours. He was singing a song of encouragement when blended with the sound of Punda's motor. The long attachment that he had brought the night before was scooping out the clumps of reeds. The machine moved forward a meter and again scooped a dripping mass of stalks and mud from the side of the long stretch of granite. At midday, Billy stopped Punda's motor and said, "Donkey, never has a morning gone faster. You've worked at high skill, half the day over and half the day's work, and a day's work done. They demanded that we should finish the road to this place. It is done." They demanded by this time tomorrow the reeds should be cleared out so that the rats might come up to the sloping piece of rock. We will do it. We watched a train arrive and 2 trucks being shunted off. One was full of oil drums. The other was bright red and had the word explosives written across it. Overhead flew an airplane. The flies to the hospital, thought Billy, and gave Thunder a wordy discourse of flying. The plane circled the hospital 30 kilometers away and came into land at the airstrip. Dr. Matama hurried forward to greet the pilot. I have a letter for you from the AC. He says I must have you on the Sabah airstrip 2 hours before sunset, he said. Dowdy tore open the envelope and read, Request that you come to Sabah with medical supplies for any casualty in the battle against the birds. Colongo AC. In the middle of the afternoon, the whole country seemed to be alive with weaver birds. They disturbed Jacobo as he lay muttering in delirium. He flew chattering over Baruti and Noha, who were expecting 2 rats who had buried the fire liquid and explosives in the cooking pot. The sky was full of birds from the moment the plane took off. We could be in trouble, shouted the pilot as a wave of weaver birds swung towards the airplane. There was a loud thump and the cabin was suddenly dark. The aircraft shuddered. The engine faltered, spluttered, and picked up. The pilot grunted. That was close. He turned on the windscreen wipers and an ugly mess of blood and feathers was scraped aside to give him a view of the landing strip's glory. Below them, Nelson Colongo turned to Yona. The people will come to hear my words? Yona nodded. Every village within 10 kilometers is heard, but none will come after dark. Everybody, young and old, is guarding the crops. They see more and more young birds among those that would steal their grain. Below them, Nelson Colongo turned to Yona. The people will come to hear my words? Yona nodded. Every village within 10 kilometers is heard. Every village within 10 kilometers is heard, but none will come till after dark. Everybody, young and old, is guarding the crops. They see more and more young birds among those that would steal their grain. This is the time to talk with them. Truly, Bwana AC, they have also arranged for 3 goats to be killed. Even now they are stewing them. The people will forget some of their anger and will dance. A full stomach and some dancing will do much to cover up their worry. There should be a time to see all our preparations on this side of the swamp before sunset. And tomorrow we'll visit the cooking pot, said Nelson Colongo. The trimless plane had landed and taxied towards them. It looked as though it had been covered with tar and sprayed with feathers. The pilot and Dowdy Matama swung down to the ground. After the usual greetings, Dowdy Matama said, We nearly didn't arrive. The sky was full of birds. I am glad all is well, said Nelson Colongo. This is certainly a danger spot. The crops ripen early. We timed our attack well. I must leave you to it, said the pilot, waving goodbye. They watched the plane move up, rise into the air, and disappear over the hill. Nelson Colongo led the way to the Land Rover. Soon they bumped past Yonan's house and a railway station, and turned into the swamp at the egg-shaped hole. The AC pointed ahead. Pili Pili has done well in building this road. At the moment, he is deepening a waterway to carry rats with the materials we need for the battle. They were driving deep into the swamp. From the reeds which grew some 2 meters above the surface dangled hundreds of nests, and every minute more weaver birds swirled down. A well-planned road this, said Dowdy. There's wisdom in the way you have linked up those flat, stony places. Colongo nodded. Pili Pili has made a solid entry to within a stone's throw of the cooking. Engineer hurried out of the reeds. Good evening, Dr. Matama. He grinned at Tembo and Baruti. I'd like to report that the work is finished. Well done, said the AC. And now for the enemy. Every day more and more of them will come, said Baruti. Daddy pointed to the hills to the south. Over there we hear the same thing. Very few people are coming to the house. Everybody is out bird scared. In the starlight, a crowd of people stood outside Yona's house. A loud voice shouted, Our crops are in danger! Yona stood up and cleared his throat. Wana Kalongo. These small birds are coming in great numbers to every village and every garden. The young are now flying with the old. The crops ripen. Some places they are ripe. And these feathered thieves steal even from the baskets on the women's heads. Shoot them, shouted the voice. Give us guns and bullets. A roar of agreement reached this. What is all this that you do with birds and soldiers? Demanded another. Colongo stood up. The harvest will be saved. There are millions of those birds. There are those who shoot them with catapults. It is useless. Guns are no better. 1,000 Askaris with 1,000 guns would not begin to halt them. They trace the great nest from which they come. It's just a cooking pot. There was an excited murmur. Is it a matter of witchcraft? That is a forbidden place. Have no worry, said Colongo. But in this battle we will fight with fire, and we shall win. All of you keep away from the road to the cooking pot and the swamp. Keep out of the way of those who fight. For half an hour he answered questions. Then people started clapping their hands and dancing. Yakobo was still weak with fever and from the beating he received. He clutched Pili Pili's jungle knife and stood in front of the baobab tree where he'd hidden his money. He stumbled over to the far side where no car headlights would betray him. In the gloom he started to chop. After a dozen strokes he dropped the great knife and leaned panting against a tree. After a while he pulled oil-soaked cotton waste from his pocket, only a handful. By its light he chopped cautiously. Fatigue came over him in waves, so he hacked on. The flame flickered and went out as the blade cut into the hollow of the buyu tree. In complete darkness, Yakobo squatted on the gnarled root fighting. Thoughts raced through his mind. Why had he ever come on this safari? His mind went back over the years to the days where he'd first met Dala and seen his magnificent clothes. Up till then, his hospital work had something special about it. Watching people brought back from the brink of death. He staggered to his feet. It was money that attracted him. His money was in that tree in front of him. He hacked away until he made a sizable hole in the tree before he needed to rest again. Yakobo tore what was left of the cotton waste in half, lighted it, and in a frenzy slashed at the hole. 5 minutes later, he was into the darkness of the tree trunk. Deliberately, to taste the full flavor of his success, he stopped, arranged the last of his oily rag, and struck a match. The inside of the venerable tree was an odd pattern of termite tracks. His foot kicked a piece of dead branch which was riddled with white ants. There were the rubber bands and string that had held his roll of notes together. Around them was a handful of powdery mud and some scraps of engraved paper. His hands that trembled, he picked these up. They were fragments of East African banknotes. Okay, we'll just stop the Jungle Doctor and Slippery Places here for now. But I hope you join us next week for the rest of it. Bye!
With one another, so reading with Joe, the place for all the fun. Creative.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope to see you next time on another story time with Joan. Reading with Joan. Bye.